Hey, it's the Green Grocer. No, it's the head coach of the Geneva College Golden Tornadoes. My guest that I have been waiting for endlessly here in the home studio in Monaca. So let me tell you how this whole thing began. We've got a complete new makeover because of a lot of folks. So my dear friend, our friend, grew up with in New Brighton, Joe Hogan, Invisalign, was here with his lovely bride, Kate. He did an interview with me. His people saw it. I got the inspiration, got a little helping hand from some people like Lou Bruno, Sam Bruno. Of course, not Bruno Sammartino, but that's another story.
Another story.
Yeah, he helped me too. 5-star remodelers, fresh coat of paint, all sorts of incredible things happening. This studio is going to be the home base for some incredible things to come in the following 2025 calendar year. Wait till we show you what we have in store. Along with, give me that grocery bag.
Yes, sir.
We also are going to be working on another podcast studio somewhere in Pittsburgh. But when we're here, as we will be there, we're going to be talking about what's in the grocery bag. Coons Market, of course, that Pittsburgh tradition. So I want to talk to him, not about football, we'll get to that, but about his incredible parents and in the grocery bag, because cooking family familia this time of year is everything. And he being Italian, what better person to talk munge than Gino DeMarco? It always was about food, was it not, growing up?
It was. Everything was centered around food. It was okay. For Easter, what do we eat? You know, what are we having for the 4th of July? But Christmas, it was, we definitely were doing Christmas Eve, 7 fishes. And I don't think we did all of them, but it got to be, this is a funny part. The side dish had to be something like lasagna. so it had to be lasagna. Like, I was thinking about this the other day.
Oh.
Who has a side dish?
That's lasagna.
It's lasagna or rigatoni.
Shovels.
Or like homemade gnocchs. I mean, how in the world? And here I am. I don't cook, Rob. I want to make sure that.
No, he knows Ernie Ritchie like I know Ernie Ritchie.
Yeah.
And anytime I have anybody say to me, hey, do you have Ernie's number? I know they're looking for the sausage. And he, of course, a big part of the 7 fishes too. But it wouldn't be a holiday without Ritchie's Italian sausage. Anyway.
No, exactly. And I've never learned how to cook anything like that. But now I've got people coming to my house, like in my family, grandkids and everything else. And I'm like,
where's my mom and dad helping?
Like, holy crap.
Although your wife's pretty good.
Oh, this is a lot of work. What did they do? Like, how did they get all this stuff done?
You know what I just realized? You're a lot like my father in one particular reason. You have all girls.
Yeah.
My dad had 5 and only me. But I think he basically kind of said, I have 5 girls and then I have you. But seriously, that must be really cool growing up as a husband and a father of just all daughters and now to have grandkids. That's pretty cool.
Well, it was real cool. God has a sense of humor, because when you're in high school, you're going to have all boys, right?
Right.
Every guy's going to
be the quarterback of the
go to Notre Dame, right? Yeah,
right.
That's it. I mean, I married my wife because I shouldn't get into it, but she's 5'11", and
she's beautiful.
I thought we had a chance. Anyway,
even he can get a date.
Four girls, incredible, just incredible. The funny thing about this is, I'm talking with you. I just left the store. I had to get not grab bag. What is it at Christmas? Not grab bag. Stocking stuffers. Yeah, grab bag. Is that another holiday?
That's another holiday.
I got to get back to the neurologist. All right. So anyway,
too many shots to
the head. I'm picking out stuff for stocking stuffers for my son-in-laws. Now, my son-in-laws, all of them played for me. My daughters all went to Geneva.
Really?
So they're all football players of mine, and they all graduated from Geneva in business. And the one that coached for me, John, is got his master's in counseling, doing some great work. But I mean, so these guys come over now. Like, I could never imagine this.
How much food is there?
Oh no, it was just like for Thanksgiving. It's just ridiculous. Honestly, I can remember the size of our football team in '93, and it was smaller. And I'm thinking that could have been a pregame meal for that team in '93. It's just why?
So because that's who we are, man.
Yeah,
you got to eat when you. And if you ever go to an Italian's house and you don't eat,
oh,
That's like an insult.
It is an insult. I got to tell you this. So I had, got a little thing in the heart going on when I was younger, and had to stop eating some things. So I went to a doctor, got healthy. I'm as healthy now as I've been.
You look great.
Yeah, right. Except for the eyebrows. But
No,
other than that,
no.
we can do that later.
I was with you
We'll
on
put
the
those
TV
on.
set when we were doing the Geneva College Golden Tornado show, and he went to scratch, and the hair fell out.
It did. And it was one time we couldn't do it. One of them was there. So I took a Sharpie, put it in there. Nobody knew the difference. But what the heck were we talking about?
Let's just be honest.
go ahead.
No, we're going to be honest here. That was what I call Jim Morrison years. I was a rock star, and
You were it.
never.
Well, you're still it.
Well, no.
That's the thing that nobody
But
understands.
I'm actually awake now.
Well, yeah.
Listen, and this is a fact.
Oh.
Tad McAwicki, the executive producer of it, all the folks at Rhino, I was going from one show to the other, play-by-play, KDKA, 7 days a week, selling this, that, whatever. So when I was hosting his show one time, I would ask him a question. Let's talk about the man-to-man defense he would start using that question and giving an answer to the audience, and I would literally fall asleep.
Right.
And when he would stop talking, I would wake up. So one day, Tad McAwicki said, "Rob, you're like falling asleep." I'm like, "Get out of here. I got to go. Come on. And lo and behold, the playback. And Coach, sleep and back awake. So we have seen the best of times, the worst of times.
Well, we had a friendly discussion amongst all of us during those days.
20-some years ago.
It was a great discussion.
So it's you that has done this to me. That I'm back now.
Yeah, you're back, and it's just the way life is.
Look, I'm not. Let's just tell it the way it is.
We were blessed.
He's a little bit more spiritual than I am, but I'm going to tell you right now, anything that has happened over the last 20 years, I deserved it. But more importantly, I'm still on the right side of the dirt. So for whatever reason, much love to one and all. But I'm good now, and I'm ready to get back in the ring and get at it. And I got to tell you, it's truly all about friends. Because I was a person that just could never say no. I loved showering people with gifts. I loved making people happy by getting them business that they didn't think they could get. And sometimes I got on that surfboard and looked for the biggest wave. And I would crash at times, but I'd get right back up and get into the game of life. But because of people like him and his family, it just makes me want to continue to do good. So I'm really excited about having an opportunity, along with all the stuff for Odyssey at KDK, my other family that I'm so lucky to have, but to be able to do goodwill. Like today, I was out and about. Nobody's making any money on any of this stuff. Hopefully that'll change next year. But I've done literally thousands of videos since 2010. Gino, everywhere I look on Main Street, there's somebody I want to help.
Yeah,
But I like
it's
helping
that time
people.
of our life, and it's not that you never didn't want to help someone before in your career, but when we're going 1,000 miles an hour, and we're just in the process of being in the grind, I mean, you've helped us incredibly over the years. There's so many people, there's so many people in this region that know, man, Rob really helped me with this, that, and the other. So it's time. I'm going to tell you this, and I mean it sincerely. One of my best pastors that I listen to is Chuck Swindoll. He's an older guy, incredible teacher. He wrote a book called Laugh Again, and it was about finding the joy in your Christianity, finding the joy in Christ, like living life with joy. And it's time to do that. All right. It's time to laugh again. It's time to dream again. And even though we're at this age, okay, now I'm telling you, take the next step.
See, here's the thing, and this is from my friend Jessica Festa. Like my son Tyler, Pentecostal. She sings at the church.
Yeah.
My son with his 3 children, who used to be running up and down the sidelines when I was doing Geneva football, heavily into his faith in church. Your brother, obviously, with his church in Brighton. So I was coming out of the parking lot at her church one night, and she said, a little bit of that Catholic guilt coming out in you. One thing that you can tell her, I've always been open to every religion, joking with you, of course, Jessica, but I love every faith. And I say, faith cometh by hearing, no matter how you get it, as long as you get it. But it's so hard right now because of what I do in the headlines every day, the shootings and the crime and the sadness and the loneliness and the homelessness, that if you don't have some sort of faith this time of year, and I happen to be Catholic and I'm proud of it,
Yes.
is the fact that the world's a very lonely place to begin with. So you got to have faith in something, right?
You have to have faith in the Lord, and let's just call it what it is. You got to have faith in Christ, and that's what you're taught in the Catholic Church. That's what we're taught in the church that my brother and I.
That's a great church, by the way.
And Geneva preaches the same message, that it's in Christ alone. And I will tell you this: there is something that's happening. I am seeing more and more of my close Catholic friends and people that I don't know get together, and we're having morning Bible studies on Friday morning at McDonald's. And these guys are now, and I don't mean it in any disrespect, but these guys are like reading their Bible for the first time, and then when they go to Mass, it takes on like
a whole new meaning.
And it's not to get them out of the Catholic Church. It's this idea of, hey, men, wake up. Like, there is somebody to put our hope in, and it's Christ. And I don't have to be ashamed to do that. I was trying to do that, and I am trying to do that through the game of football. But now we're on a mission.
I got to be honest with you. So there's a young man by the name of Gavin Wright, who's a quarterback in East Liverpool.
Yeah.
I'm headed down there later today to do something with their basketball coach. I've been all over the place lately. I'm heading there. And I ran into this young man, and I said, have you had any offers yet? And he was saying, there's some NAI schools looking at me. So right away, I said, Tommy Contenta, your top assistant. And I basically said that to this nice young man for no other reason other than this. Yes, you get a chance to play great football at an historic venue, but you get an education second to none, but you get faith-based to where, and I've seen it firsthand. We mentioned Joe Hogan, my brother-in-law, John Manzetti. My sister Renee went there for a while. She was the smartest of all the siblings. And when I look at all these people, including you, they're all on a rock solid foundation because of what that school gave them. So I will always recommend, and believe it or not, the reason I do all these videos with you and others and promote Geneva, it's what the billboard says when you come across the bridge, made for this, that Geneva, the old Keystone Bakery sign.
Right.
I was made for this because I like promoting good. And I know anytime I mention Geneva, and if anybody plugs into it for whatever reason, maybe like even sending their children there, I know I've done a good thing because it's a good place.
Appreciate it.
It is.
It is.
It is.
It's a great place.
So explain this to me, you being a man of faith. So one week when I was doing the overnight show, back in those days when I was working round the clock, I said, I got to come up with a theme, something to keep the electric going and the juice flowing and people phoning in. So I said, my job this week is to prove to every one of you that there is no Jesus Christ.
Wow.
No matter what you say to me, I'm going to prove to you there's no Jesus Christ. So right away, people were angry. Phones lit up. Well, I said, but have you ever seen him? Well, no. Okay, thanks. But heaven, I said, have you ever been there? No. Well, I believe my Father who's in, how do you know? So this went on all week, in and out, and people were getting, the sparks were flying. And there was a method to my madness. So to the very last night, just before 5 a.m., Cigna coming in, I'm getting ready to leave. And I said, here's my question. How is it that so many of you have faith in something you've never seen, heard, felt, or in any way experienced some sort of connection, but you have such faith and belief in it when we live in a world that nobody takes time to believe in each other? And I shut the mic off, and it just, people were like just moved because it proved my point. We have to love each other and show each other the love that we believe in, and in the afterlife we hope to achieve. I just hope that so many people, no matter where they are, whatever they're doing, whatever their religious beliefs are, take time to pray. And you can pray any way you want. Driving in a car, obviously with your eyes open, on your knees at night, visiting some place of worship, no matter how you get it. And the great Diagardi family, Rome Monument, we're going to be broadcasting Midnight Mass with Father Burke this year. He'll drop by the Feast of the Seven Fishes show with Mr. Diagardi in that first part of the show to kind of get everybody in the right frame of mind. No matter what you do this holiday season, you better find time to believe in something, because right now we need some faith, because this country is really under siege right now. So hopefully that next administration, which I have faith in, will kind of get people back on that solid foundation.
Amen.
Was that okay?
I thought, I just, the way you went through that and you articulated of everything that has happened, and personally what's going on, I can see the same thing. I mean, here we are sitting here and just kind of sharing with each other about our family or about our personal faith. And I see what I see happening is I see guys sitting down now because we've done all of our quote unquote stuff. Like you've
Walk the walk.
you've reached the pinnacle of whatever profession it is or whatever. And you sit there and you say, well, there's always more. And then you start thinking, what is it? What is it? What's our true identity as a human being? What's our true, why were we made? What was the purpose? And the purpose is to do exactly what you said, is to be able to reflect the love of Christ to our neighbor, just how he has reflected his grace to us. And it is, it's done in so many different ways.
Well, this is why I want people to listen to what I have to say. We've had this ongoing discussion, joke, LOL, about the last 20 years of my life. I woke up 2008, Labor Day. My life has never been the same. Good, bad, and different. It has changed full circle. But how would you like to relive all of the good, all of the not so good, and all of the bad every single waking moment? And maybe it's just that natural path. My children grow. They're on their own. Sadly, my marriage didn't work out. And I ended up on my own with a lot of quiet time in this place to think, my studio. And all I'm saying is it's better to get faith now and to get back on the right track as opposed to having to look back and realizing how many missed opportunities I had to make it right. But now I've done nothing but make it right. But oh, how I wish I could bring back certain times of my life. But I have no regrets now because I know I'm going to pave a better way the rest of my life.
Yeah, the spiritual concept is truth, that you can't operate in faith and fear or reflection of fear, like guilt of what I've done in the past and how it's affected me now. I mean, you're going forward. You have a vision for what you want to do. And one of the things that was told to me that really, really helped me with this, because I'll go back through and just say, well, I did this game. I made this mistake. I did this. I mean, these are things, this is the actual war, if you will, the spiritual war between good and evil. This is the actual war that we fight. It's a fight, but it's a good fight, and it's a fight that we win. It's the battleground of the mind and the battleground of the soul. And it's the only way it brings us back to the creator of who we worship and whatever we do, say, whatever. And that's Christ. And that's the only way I can come and aggressively combat those things that just kind of bombard us and look into the future like, all right, Lord, you've got it. You've already been there. Yeah, because he's eternal. We can't comprehend the fact that you describe to me eternity. Describe to me someone who always was, always is, always will be.
Never ending.
So he already knows. And that's the constant step of faith every day that we have to fight. Just like that boxing, the gym you got here. I mean, it's just, and Paul uses that analogy. He does. He uses the analogy if I just start swinging aimlessly or whatever. But that's the focus. It is coming real to you now.
Oh yeah.
It's coming real, and it's coming more real to me. And I'm a kid who,
look, I've been in this place many nights in the dark, physically crying, trembling, emotionally shaking, just wanting to go back to hold my children one more time when they were small. Right. Because I always took the time, and that's why I lost a lot of sleep, because even though I worked a lot, if it meant 2 hours of sleep a night, that's what I did, so I wouldn't lose those moments. But as I look in the mirror now, I see my father in his 60s, same hairline, the same physical appearance, the same wrinkles and things that happen to you as you get older. And I can see him sitting on his couch at Christmas time, or when we would have these family gatherings on Christmas Day, and I would look up and make eye contact, and he seemed to be oblivious, but he was just basically that vision, just looking around the room, taking it all in. And I said to him one time, I said, "Boy, you're always so quiet when everybody shows up. Why is that?" He goes, "Because I don't want to miss a single moment. This is why I worked my entire life. But you'll see when you're in Act 3." And he said this. He said, "You'll see when you're in Act 3, before that curtain comes down, you just want to take that last peek until it finally comes down." And he says, "I realize where I am in life." And sadly, my dad, that was the last Christmas we had with him. So he got diagnosed with lung cancer in May and died in July. And my mother was the same way. She would love just walking around the room and hugging and talking and getting connected with each and every one during the holidays, and would never sit down. My grandmother, Marie Bango, same thing, never sit down. And I see myself now doing the same thing with my kids and grandkids. I ran into my son Robbie in Rochester the other day, and you would have thought somebody, left a bucket of cash on the ground. I was just euphoric. And it's family's everything. And if you can find a way to have faith, it will make you believe that family, like I believe, is the most important thing. So no matter how much material things you get, no matter how much you achieve in your personal life, your business life, family, whether it's your biological family, your community, that New Brighton, that neighbor, the names that I've mentioned and many that I've mentioned in the past, you have to have a foundation, Gino. And that's what I think Christ, and I think that's what religion gives you. Just like growing up, sitting in that same pew, in that same spot, in that same church, listening to those homilies with Father Reichel and company for years in New Brighton. It was all about the foundation and the family and the extension of your family, meaning your community.
Amen.
So a couple of football things before you go.
Sure.
What about Rich Rodriguez going back to WVU, your old stomping grounds?
Had an opportunity to coach with Rich at West Virginia. And I was 1985, 1986. I've kept in touch with him the whole time in his career. I'm ecstatic.
You know whose relative that is, Dad?
I'm ecstatic.
Pat DeMeo, his wife Anita's.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Rodriguez. Yeah, but
wait, no.
Yeah.
Okay, we got to talk about that.
Yeah. It's all connected. It just keeps going. Next thing you know, Lou Holtz will walk in.
Well, yeah, Lou Holtz.
Hey, Lou.
Well, his aunt.
I got to tell
Geneva,
you. I got to tell you a funny story. So,
go ahead.
Got to get an implant in this little tooth here, right? My great doctor, Dr. Bill Zamorella. So they gave me a little prosthetic. Okay. So I wasn't wearing it for the longest. See, look, the older you get, you don't care about losing your hair. You don't care about losing teeth once in a while. Liver spots. I noticed in the mirror last night, my earlobes look like speed bags. They're like a deputy dog.
What is it with the ears?
I'm telling you.
It
is.
They get bigger. Go ahead.
But anyway, so they gave me a thing, but the way it was in my mouth, I was talking like this. And the person said, "That's a great impression of Lou Holtz." I went, no, what I'm doing. But the coach is always on my mind.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the Steelers Sunday against the Ravens? It's going to be tough, man.
I know.
No Pickens, maybe no TJ Watt.
Like first time I've got a chance to listen to everybody on the fan, and everybody gives.
And I'm glad you listened to the fan.
Well, no, we have to, because Jeff. it's just
the Hawk.
The Hawk is
Jeff Hathorn is the purest and best sports reporter that Pittsburgh has ever seen.
And he needs to
stay right where he's at.
But yeah, Jeff, don't go anywhere.
No.
He's got great family roots. I mean, for a Sharpsville guy, well, for a Ohio State guy, he's all right. But anyway, Ned, I don't know. I mean, I've heard all these crazy things, and as a coach, I'm listening to this, and I'm thinking, I'm sure that when you beat somebody 8 out of 9 times, and I'm telling you as a coach, when I know somebody is beating us, half the game.
That's all you're thinking about.
Half the game is getting over the thought process of not thinking that you just lost 8 out of the 9.
Oh.
It is a battle within a battle. And the thing with the Ravens is if it gets going.
Are you saying the Steelers have their numbers? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Well, and I'm going to talk to you from a stat. I did okay in statistics at Geneva with Dr. Paul Arnold, who's a New Brighton guy.
Hey.
Yeah, you went to school with this kid. So anyway,
I never knew that.
Here's 8 out of 9.
I know.
There's something about it. But now they're saying that he's not going to play. He's not going to play. I mean, the thing is, you have to have a deep threat. Football is not a complicated game.
Do you believe in second chances and redemption?
In redemption?
Do you believe in it?
I'm a story of redemption.
Okay, well, here's what I said. Here's what I said that Steelers should do.
Go ahead.
Bring Antonio Brown back. Give him a shot.
Rob,
Come on, coach.
did you say Antonio Brown?
Antonio Brown. Give him a shot. What's the worst that can happen?
He takes his uniform on halfway through
That's the coach speaking.
through the game and walks
This
out.
is a man of faith speaking.
There's a difference between faith and like, what's the word?
Being rational. Listen.
No, it's actually rational.
Okay,
faith. Go
listen.
ahead.
We have to talk about one more thing before you go.
Well, who are you going to get? Who are you going to bring in before Saturday?
No, he's not
Who do you
going to
wanna
play
throw
this
the ball?
week. You bring him in.
Who do you play? If you had a
No,
what would
Pickens
you
isn't
do?
going to play. I don't think.
He's got a ham, right?
Right.
So
Hamstring.
you can't do that. What are you going to do with the other guy?
Listen, they're going to be okay, but I'm saying you get him in. Couple of weeks, you're in the playoffs. If he can go, give you a few series, why not? And maybe he can do kind of what you all did for me. Put me back on the right track by telling Pickens, if you don't want to end up like me, leave your shirt on and your uniform on.
Yeah.
Listen, the guy still is in shape, and I'm sure he can still play. And I don't know anybody else in the room who could electrify and stretch the field. And that's one of the reasons why Philadelphia did a number on him, because Russell Wilson, who still throws a deep ball, they couldn't stretch the field. And Russell today is saying he basically, social media, wants to stay in Pittsburgh. But look, I'm telling you, being a fan of the game, and that's what I am now, a fan, you cannot let Justin Fields out of Pittsburgh.
Oh,
You can't. As much as I like Russell Wilson, you cannot let him out. And if they start off slow against Baltimore, you got to start working this young man in, because he's going to go somewhere and he's going to show everyone how he was picked in the draft.
so this is really tough for me on discussing things like this because, I'm a football coach. That's who I am. That's who I'll always be. But now you put me in this position of being a prognosticator or in whatever.
What else is new?
Whatever.
I make guys who sell pool tables become prognosticators.
Whatever.
That's what I do.
All we're going to do is I can be the critic, blah, blah, blah. By the way, that is probably one of the greatest things ever written was about the critic. So at Papa, we got to
See,
do
he's the intellect in the room, because I have no idea what he's talking about.
I'm going to tell you right now, I will say this. Whoever runs the ball the best, here we go, and whoever plays defense the best, there's a good chance that team would win.
I got to tell you, though, Inside the NFL this morning is up on the treadmill.
Yeah.
Last week's show, Ryan Clark, of course, Howie Long's incredible song, Ocho Cinco, and the greatest football coach in the history of the NFL. And shame on Woody Johnson for the Jets not giving the guy at least an interview. Bill Belichick is going to North Carolina. They had LT on today. LT said, they asked him, who do you look at today and kind of think, boy, this is a great player? TJ Watt.
Oh.
Listen, Gene Matzuk retiring. What does it mean? I know what it means to me. Talk about Geno, then we got to go.
It's just the
They
had
creme de
a
la creme.
dynasty. It's just the Matzuk family. I mean, I was talking with him the other day. He goes, "This is it," and I'm thinking, I got to get him. I got to get him over my side. I got to get him to come over. I got to get him spend some time with us for.
And by the
at
way,
least a year.
his beautiful wife Bernadette, Bernie
yeah.
gave me a blanket. Thank you, because it get cold here at night, so I've been nice and warm because of the blanket. Listen, I'm humble, baby. I just say, oh, sure, I'll take that if you don't want it. There's nothing that I refuse. I am so blessed to be on the right side of the dirt. I'm blessed to have friends like him, and I'm in the best shape of my life. So get out of my way, because your Pratt Pack's got a lot of good things happening, and we're going to be showing all of them to you from here and on the road. And of course, never miss the Feast of the Seven Fishes show, 30 plus years, thanks to the CEO of that great brand, Jody Zima, Frank, and that incredible company, Coons Market, a Pittsburgh tradition. We got the great store here in Hopewell. We are going to be on the air Christmas Eve from 5:30 in the morning until 1. The show actually gets underway at 9. My buddy David Bolorado is going to be anchoring the news from Coons Market. So it's going to be an epic broadcast. And then, of course, because it's, that Christmas season, most of the other guys and gals are going to be on vacation, but your Pratt Pack's going to be with you mano a mano throughout the entire Christmas holiday. On KDKA 100.1 FM, AM 1020, faith-based education, Geneva College. It can change your life. Have a great day, everybody.
Hey, that was pretty good.
Oh, yeah, I know. Probably
By the way, you got to read The Critic.